Hi, welcome back. We'll start off once again with brand new concept in Python. It's called as decorators. So we're going to start off with decorators, and we're going to understand how decorators are going to be used in Python for IoT purposes, right? Decorators or a decorator is a very wonderful concept which has been introduced in Python, which, as the name implies, is used for decorating a function or a class. Alright, in order to understand decorators, we need to see what is the concept of a function within a function. Right? Okay, so there can be two types of decorators. Number one, as I told you, if the decorator is used to decorate a function, it is called as a function decorator. If the decorator is used to decorate a class, it is called as a class decorator. So we're going to have two types of decorators which are going to be used. We saw a function already, how a function is defined. A function is defined with the keyword def. A class is defined with a keyword class. Alright, now let's get into the depth of a function within a function, which I said is needed for understanding a decorator. Now, a decorator, if you go for the definition in Python, is any callable function Python object that can be used to modify a function or a class. Meaning, it is a Python object which you can call in such a way that the function or the class which calls the decorator will be modified every time you call it. Okay, we'll understand that in detail. Okay, and decorators are widely used, especially when you come to IoT. Where exactly are decorators used? They are used majorly in image processing. They are used in server development, or we can call it as any kind of development where you have some kind of websites or web servers which you want to develop. So we are going to see those developments in detail maybe some other time when we do frameworks. Okay, but for now, this concept of decorators, and as well as not just decorators, there is another concept called as generators too, which is quite unique to Python and which is wonderful to learn. All right, let's go on to the first steps of decorator. Okay, let's understand how do we start up with it. Let's make a new file, and I'll call it as, save it in desktop. Okay, so let me save it as decor.py, and we'll go on ahead with it. Let me define a function over here. The function is going to be called as successor. Okay, SUCC. Okay, what is the function going to do? It is going to take a number x. Very simply, it is going to return the successor of x. The successor of x is going to be x plus 1. That's it. It's going to return something as simple as that. Okay, now if I save this and if I run this, right, I can call the successor. I can call the successor by just calling successor of 10. Right? What is the successor of 10? 11. Okay. But if I say, if this object, every function also in Python is an object. Let me make that very clear at the outset. Every function in Python is also an object. So, if I say type of SUCC, it says class function. Are you able to understand? SUCC is an object of type class function. Okay, so now if this object can be assigned to another object, let me say I have another object, I'm creating another object successor which is equal to SUCC. So now if I say type of SUCC ES or what is going to be that? Class function. So you have the type of SUCC as class function, and you have the type of SUCC ESSOR also as class function. Okay. Now, so that means can I call, of course, if you remember, I had called SUCC of 10. That was very much possible. But can I call SUCC ESSOR of 10? Can I call this? You did not define successor as a function. You had defined SUCC as a function. But can I call successor of 10? Yes, you can. Because ID of SUCC and ID of SUCC ESSOR is the same. SUCC is SUCC ESSOR is true, which means both of them are pointing to the same object, which is of type class function. Alright, so that means we have two names for the same function, two names for the same function. What are the two names? SUCC and SUCC and SUCCESSOR. Okay, if you have understood this, let's say I'm going to delete one of the objects by calling the del BIF. I call the del BIF and I say del SUCC, if I call that, and I delete the SUCC. Okay, so that means I had called the function SUCC, but now I have deleted SUCC. Let me see if SUCC of 10 works. No, it says SUCC is not defined. But does SUCC ESSOR of 10 work? Yes, it does, because successor was not deleted. SUCC, the reference to this object was deleted, but SUCC ESSOR was still pointing to the same object. This reference was deleted, but this reference remained. Hope you understand that. Okay, so now we go on to a concept of a function within a function. So understanding this major concept in functions, because every function is nothing but an object of a type class function. You can assign another name. We learned that, right? Now we go a little detail about a function within a function. Okay, so none of these are decorators. We are going to go in decorators in detail a little later, until we understand the concept of functions in detail. Okay,